Nice. Hello and welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with a special list. This is thanks to Matthew Vuk, who went 3-1 in the prelim with this list. Matt's a very good player, pretty well known for his 4-color loam strategy finishes, but kind of just likes the Night Wasteland kind of decks in Legacy, and has some really nice finishes behind him. This is a really interesting version of Maverick because it's playing a card called Brainstorm, which obviously is kind of a Legacy staple. Some would argue it's the most powerful card in Legacy. And it's a card that usually Maverick preys on, but doesn't play itself. Brainstorm is blasphemy, as I can see in chat. But, hear me out. Maverick has a really tough way to deal with drawing the wrong cards in the wrong matchup. So let's look at Collector Oof, for instance, and drawing it against Elves or Delver, you don't really have an out, you just have to play with it. A little bit like Swords to Plowshares against an Ant or Tez deck. They're just cards in your hand. They're not going to matter. There might be a fringe case where it does, but the likelihood is they're just going to be dead cards. So what Brainstorm allows you to do is obviously put those cards back and hopefully brainstorm into cards that are going to be relevant in the matchup. Another great example is Thalia. Obviously a pretty horrible card in the fair matchups. And I just realized that I have the wrong artwork. It's going to screw up the whole thing. Hopefully this is fine. So Brainstorm obviously gives you a little bit of an out there as well, which is nice. I can't even see where these other Thalias went. There they are. Nice, and then this comes over, and then this comes over. Cool, we got there. So I do like Brainstorm in this deck, especially because it allows us to make our hands better, pivot against the strategies that we come up against. So maybe we keep a hand against... Jack, I know you would be happy. So maybe you keep a hand against, you know, what you think is going to be a fair strategy or a combo strategy, and it turns out it's the exact opposite, and you now have a hand that obviously doesn't do much in the matchup. That's where Brainstorm really helps, and it's great in this deck because although you can get Brainstorm locked, which is when you don't have a shuffle effect and you kind of just have to draw the cards you put back with Brainstorm. We have access to fetch lands, which is usual, obviously a great kind of synergy within Legacy, but we also have 4 Green Sun Zenith with shuffle, and in this version we're also playing Stoneforge Mystic, so we have 10 plus ways to shuffle the deck, which is pretty nice, and we don't have to rely on just fetch lands, which is great. It's going to be really interesting to play Brainstorm because there is probably a time where I want to stop making land drops in case I do draw Brainstorm and can start casting some spells instead and put those lands back, but that'll be interesting. Vuk obviously wanted a pretty combo heavy sideboard strategy because he thought his game plan in the main deck was pretty good against some of the decks that was playing a fair strategy. So obviously the decks where Swords of Plowshares is good, the decks where Stoneforge Mystic is good, where Oko is good. We don't really need too much sideboarding for that. If anything, it's really just the 3 Thalias. And I think, there's a case for maybe Meddling Mage being better than Thalia in some fair matchups, but I think the main card we'll be bringing in is Sylvan Library, and then just thinking about Thalia. So obviously with red, we get access to the blast effects, which is fantastic. It means that as a Maverick deck, I can deal with Oko on the stack, which means it doesn't get any value, which is awesome. We then have Meddling Mage against some of the combo decks. Even against something like Elves, it's quite good because it gets a name Natural Order or Glimpse of Nature or what I'm really ever scared of. Gaddock Teeg, really nice as well, just as a Green Sun's target. It can kind of act like a Meddling Mage that acts on different verticals. So say in Ant, instead of playing Meddling Mage and naming either Ad Nauseam or Tendrils or Empty the Warrens, Gaddock just answers all of them, which is great. So I really like Gaddock there. Canonist I really like as well. Matt isn't playing Deafening Silence, which is a pretty great answer to combo because it's a turn 1 play. But Canonist lines up well against decks like Elves. So another cool choice. I haven't played with Hull Breacher yet, but this should be pretty awesome. We do have a few things we can do with our mana, or at least with the mana that it creates through the treasures. I'll have to read it. But you know, sinking it into a Green Suns or hardcasting a Batterskull or equipping a sort of Fire and Ice. You know, there's a ton of things we can do. We can even make the treasures 3/3s with Okos, so it all has some nice synergy. And then just ley lines to finish it off for Graveyard Hate, which I'm a big fan of. There's a lot of decks that have trouble buying, or sorry, there are decks that have trouble answering leyline early on, and usually by the time they do, we can set up a creature base of disruption that then they have to deal with and hopefully can't. The other big card here is Cloths, which in this case it's really nice because it's a Green Suns target, so we kind of have 5 copies. A great threat through versus Snow. Pretty good against some of the Delver decks, at just sort of buying some time, having a threat that's hard to deal with. So Cloths should be really valuable. And then I guess the other one to mention is the main deck Path as a 5th way to deal with creatures. Obviously this deck isn't playing Skyclave Apparition, it's not playing Abrupt Decay, it's not playing Plague Engineer or Kaya. So the extra way to deal with creatures is great because you have access to it in the main deck, which is awesome, and if they aren't relevant, you can brainstorm them away, hopefully. Path, pretty good against some of the Marit Lage decks as well, because it means that obviously our main way to win those matches is through combat damage, so not allowing our opponent just to gain 20 life is pretty good. Having an out to that through Path is pretty fantastic. The mana base. A lot of duels, which I'm pretty happy with. That should be pretty interesting to see how we want to be fetching early on. I think it'll be the traditional Savannah straight up and then either going for the Trop or Tega second based on what we have. You know, if it's an Oko or we've drawn the Cloths. But it's going to be an interesting league, so we'll see how this goes. You can find the deck list in the Cardboard Live functionality, which is cool. So we'll play Legacy League. We're playing this, I believe. We'll switch over to the in-game. Nice. There we go, very slick. I have to find an actual good slider as well, but for now, we're all here. We're all enjoying it. Jack, what do you got planned for the weekend? Also, do you have any feedback on the tournament that you guys ran at a private venue? Other than, of course, the cost of the venue, if you, for some reason, didn't have to pay for the venue, is there anything that you would look for in a venue now that you've played an event in sort of a private space? Up against Leviathan 102. The spacing was good. Yeah, I think finding a venue with good spacing is pretty strong. This hand is pretty good. So turn 1 Dried Arbor if I really want it. I also have a turn 1 Swords and then can wait to get like a Birds of Paradise with Green Sun, so I have access to red mana for Cloths or blue mana for Oko, so I'm going to keep this. They're on 12 post to Reclaimer. Okay. That's going to make this interesting. Elves. Okay. So main deck we have a few ways to deal with Elves. Obviously Swords and Path here is really nice, but it's going to be interesting to see how I actually want to deal with this. So the question is, I think Wirewood Symbiote is one of the bigger cards that I'm really afraid of, but Quirion Ranger here is probably a card that I just want to Swords. I could also play a turn 1 Noble Hierarch, which is really nice. It's probably one of my better draws. Because getting to Stoneforge Mystic and attacking with a Jide is how I'm going to start winning this game. So yeah, I think the nice thing about turn 1 Noble is that then I can go turn 2 Stoneforge and hold up Swords to Plowshares. So I think building up my mana early on is nice. And then if there is a larger threat at hand, which is something I think I can definitely work on, is against Elves, knowing which creatures are the biggest resources for my opponent. The card I don't want to see first up is Glimpse. That would be pretty horrible. Yeah, Shepherd's a big one. Obviously with Quirion Ranger, they can block Jide all day with Dryad Arbor, which is something to consider. And the other card is, of course, Wirewood Symbiote, which is an insect which allows them to block with an elf and then return an elf to the hand. if they want. So that's also pretty strong against the Stoneforge. I don't think Klotz is going to have a role in this game, but you never know. As for Green Sun's targets, this is a matchup where I would rather have Gaddock Teeg than Collect Oof, but otherwise, it's not too bad. If my opponent starts playing non-basics, maybe I'll go for another Reliquary later on. You side out Oko? Yeah, it's fair enough. It does seem like it's not doing enough for 3 mana. And I think the issue that I've had with Elves sometimes is keeping a hand with hate, but losing to a go wide strategy. Oh, Taiga. Okay. So here I like just playing Stoneforge and probably getting rid of Wirewood. I could wait to Swords the Wirewood, but I don't want him to play a Cradle and then be able to get mana through it, so... You would wait 1 turn? Yeah. So the big issue with waiting is, of course, Cradle, but the best issue about waiting is really knowing what my opponent is trying to achieve on the turn. Yeah, they'll most likely fetch Arbor, and then they could go for like an early natural order, which would be pretty tough. See how they fetch. Arbor. I am pretty keen just to get rid of this now. I of course can't go over the Dryad Arbor because they can bounce it, and then they can bounce this with Wirewood, so I think just to play around, at least just to F6 their turn, I'm going to do it now. Cradle's a big card, and I think the 1 extra mana is something to consider relevant. Arbor implies Cradle. Yeah, I guess also pretty nice with the Quirion Ranger as just a blocker for Stoneforge. There's Cradle. Yeah, that's very true. They're gonna... Interesting. Wow, okay. So now I could actually just go Swords and Path. Pathing in their upkeep. I guess pathing in their draw step, so in case they draw their other forest. But I'll probably like dealing with the Reclaimer now. And then we can still put in Jide. I could get a free attack, but... Deal with the Ranger now? Yeah, so I think what we'll do is... go for the Ranger now, and then hold up Stoneforge. I might as well do it like this. And then upkeep, that's okay. Draw step. Path this. They're going to use the Reclaimer, which is interesting, because the land will come in tapped. Perhaps they're getting another Dryad Arbor, because it taps for an extra mana through the Cradle, so it doesn't really matter that it's coming in untapped, but my opponent's obviously just trying to work out how they want to tap their Reclaimer, if they want to tap it. Yeah, then the Jide does really crush their mana, so it's really a case if they do have another Quirion Ranger. Okay. Nice. They're gonna block, which is interesting. That's more than fine. Ooh, green mana? Crop rotate. Okay. Didn't think of crop. I've definitely seen it at sideboard, but I haven't seen it main deck. Peatland, okay. I think now I'm happy just to drop the clots and keep the green suns for down the line. Maybe for a night. I could also draw a card, but I think getting the clots online is pretty nice. I can go for a Taiga. To be fair, the other line is green suns for Birds of Paradise, which means I can actually attack in the air next turn. So I think just in case their last 2 or 3 cards, maybe 4 cards with a Peatland and a draw, include an Elf and a Wirewood or the extra Dried Arbor, I'm actually going to go for Bird here, because with Exalted I can attack in the air, which is really nice. Just to make sure this Jade is definitely getting through, because I don't suspect my opponent has like Abrupt Decay in the main deck. Nice. Probably getting Dried Arbor here to turn on the Cradle, and then drawing a card. You want to fetch first in case you draw the Arbor. And then I will just 6 during my opponent's turn. Interesting matchup for sure. I feel like Elves is slowed down a little bit with the Elvish Reclaimer build, so decks like Maverick and D&T have a little bit of a better time. And there's Wirewood, so that definitely helps. Wasteland's pretty nice as well. Could attack with both creatures, to be fair. Ah, of course, I need the Exalted. Yeah, thank you very much. Of course. I'm definitely dealing with the Wirewood here, but I'm not sure if I want to deal with the Dried Arbor with the Jade counter or with the Wasteland. Because Wasteland, of course, can go after Cradle, but with no creatures on the field, the Cradle's not doing a whole lot. I'm gonna draw a card. Misty. I don't believe Elves typically run any more than 2 Dried Arbors, so it's not like I have to play around an extra one here. Yeah. I do like going after Wasteland here. Yeah, Jack's on it. I think that the versatility... Oh, they're gonna crop rotate. I guess really there's no need for me to not do it in my turn, and I could do it in their upkeep or draw step, because there's no instant speed shenanigans that I really have to deal with. But, you know, Wasteland can go after the Cradle or the Dried Arbor, but at least here I can go after a little bit more. Can really kill any elf outside of Elvish Reclaimer Or I don't think Nettle Sentinel is played because of the Reclaimers. I'm not sure if this little sign here means that I'm lagging. Can anyone in chat tell me if the stream is lagging? Hopefully not. Alright. Oh nice, there's Brainstorm. Hey Julian. Haha, you can blame Matt Vuk for this. So the big question is, what do I want to Brainstorm for? And I think it is just pressure. Most likely a knight instead of clots. And if I can do that, I'll be pretty happy. The only reason I'll do it pre-combat is to find another exalted creature, so I might as well just do it now. Stream looks smooth to you. Thank you, Savior. Well, sword's pretty nice as well, and I can put it in, which is nice, so... Put on top. And I'll put the clots on top, because the clots I can find through the Green Suns anyway. Definitely a nice setup for game one. Ah. There we go. Hey, Mr. Haru. I'm actually Australian, but I hope you're well. So next turn, it's 2, 4, 5, 6. So it is lethal if I use all the counters to actually pump the bird with double exalted, which is nice. No, don't be sorry at all. Luckily, I don't even think there's a line for my opponent to get there outside of maybe a glimpse chain, but it would be pretty tough, especially with Jade in play. Reclaim is a start. Korean's fine. Haha, Julian knows it. I am not hiding from the law, but this is fine. I'm not sure. Okay. Tap. I'm just going to play the knight. Play the hierarch. Attack for 4, 5, 6, and then 12. +2, +2. +2, +2. +2, +2. Haha. Yeah, the Australia does have some pretty good animals, I will say that. And I think that their social coverage is also really strong, so I can understand, Julian, why you like Brisbane snake catchers. There are some big snakes here, I won't lie. Nice. Elves is going to be interesting. I do like Teeg, I do like Canonist, I do like the Meddling Mages. I'm not a big fan of the Clots. Hull Breach is obviously pretty good, I guess, especially as a turn 2 play. Collect Oof, obviously not that great. The Stoneforge Mystic package is obviously strong. Okos can probably come out, and maybe even like down to 1 Thalia. You know, is library better? Can I buy enough time to have library on board? That's 60. Yeah. Oko is a little bit mediocre, and luckily a lot of my creatures are going to be bigger than the elves, so even if we do stall a little bit, it's going to be tough for them. I don't mind this. Thalia has some advantages, but it's not really the matchup where I want Thalia, so I think 1 is fine. It's nice that I'm actually siding into a lot of creatures and not non-creature hate, which is great, so Thalia isn't going to tax me too much, so I'm pretty happy submitting this list. Yeah, Julian, would you change anything here? Any of these cards you like over cards that I still have in the deck? Like, I'm not a fan of Batterskull, but it can sometimes be the, you know, life gain can be relevant. I don't mind this hand. Turn 1 sword, we have a Brainstorm if we draw another blue source. I guess we have a Brainstorm into a Stoneforge, or we can... We have a few things. I'm gonna keep this. We should have River Boa. Haha. Nice. I feel like there should be a I always forget the name. What is the name of the Redback? Okay. I feel like my hand can deal with creatures pretty well, so I don't mind just going for Wasteland here and then Swords the next turn. I could also just go Green Suns for Dryad Arbor here, and then next turn we can Stoneforge and Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, I think developing is okay as well. Dryad Arbor is probably the least scary turn 1 play. Apologies. So I'm just going to go Canopy into my own Dryad Arbor. Of course, if my opponent does put 3 creatures on the table, I probably want to keep the Wasteland for something like Cradle. And this also means that next turn we can start 2-spelling a turn, which is pretty great, and in a position that I want to be, especially on Maverick. Visionary's fine. Now I definitely feel a Cradle coming. Oh, no Cradle. They just played another Dryad Arbor. Interesting. I do like the double kill. I also don't mind attacking with the Arbor and seeing what happens, and then going Wasteland Swords. Because if they want to trade here, that's more than fine. Okay. Doing this now as well plays around the crop rotations in the deck. I think I want to go after the Visionary, but I'm not too sure. It's definitely tough. It seems like they're kind of stumbling on mana, but maybe they just played the second Dryad Arbor because they have Cradle in hand and they want to have both online. Yeah. I think it is the Dryad, just to keep taking them off mana. There's Wirewood, so that obviously with Visionary is pretty strong. But if they don't play a land here, it's pretty brutal. I feel like they've played towards Cradle, but they don't have Cradle, so... Lucky for us. The big question next turn is that, do I like Knight here or Stoneforge? I actually don't mind Green Suns for Teeg here. That turns off their own Green Sun Zenith and also a natural little line. They also don't have Upper Abrupt Decay, so I think just going for Teeg here is pretty safe. It gives me some amount of disruption, and right now the Stoneforge into Jide isn't doing much with Wirewood and Visionary online. So Teeg, pretty nice because although it does turn off our own Green Suns, it turns off theirs and also any sort of natural kill. Yeah, Green Suns for Bird is also interesting. I would need to find an Exalted creature as well, but Glimpse is going to happen. There's Cradle. 1 mana left. Wow, they didn't even use it. That's really interesting. I think here it's just Brainstorm into hopefully another removal spell and then play Stoneforge to shuffle. Nice. Probably just taking out the Ywood here. But yeah, I think it is the Ywood. Yeah, I guess I knew what I was after and I found it, which is nice. Hitting 2 lands isn't great, but I got to shuffle them away, which is really nice. I am gonna untap. I'm gonna see if my opponent returns the Elvish Visionary here. They don't. Well then. Another Reclaimer. Windswept. Okay, so they have Dried Arbor. So they could block with Dried Arbor and then sack it to Reclaimer. That's pretty good. Maybe Green Suns for 2. Okay. Probably for their own Ywood. Ooh. That's pretty strong. Pretty happy just to hold up Hull Breacher and Jide. Oh yeah, they could have gone for Oof. That would be interesting. I guess Ywood's annoying because it kind of does the same thing. Alright. Oh, they're gonna Glimpse. I believe I don't have to... I can allow this to resolve. And then I can respond to the trigger of Glimpse. Yeah, ouch. Yikes. That's just... Ugh. I guess they could have... they could still have just Natural Order. After 4 mana. Yeah, okay. This might even just be lethal. And they all have Trample. Yikes. I think what I should have done is, in response to the trigger, actually drawn a card in case I draw into Swords to Plowshares or Part to Exile. I guess we can still sack a treasure. Draw. Sword. So yeah, I can block 4, but I'm taking 15, 24. Yeah, so I'm taking way too much. Trample, 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 trample. Yeah. Nice. Sweet game. Let us probably just run back, to be fair. No changes. Nice. Would love to play first. And this hand, although it's kind of awkward, the double swords makes me really want to keep it. It kind of feels like a trap hand, however. Like, I'm not really doing much other than being reactive to their creatures. Windswept Heath can get a Trop, which turns on a few of my things. Yeah, I think I would mull as well. You can definitely see someone keeping a 2-sword hand because it is a creature-based deck, but they can just run out so many creatures so fast that your 2 swords might be ineffective, and then you don't have a great way to actually punish them on the field, so I'm going to mulligan this. This is a great hand. I'll keep this. I think it's just going to be turn 1 Noble, turn 2 Hull Breacher, and then turn 3 Stoneforge. So I'll drop the Thalia, I believe. I think I'd rather have the 3 lands or the 4 mana in total, just in case. I can't believe this is if an opponent would draw a card, so it doesn't turn off my Sylvan libraries, which is pretty insane. Once is okay. My opponent's gone to 6. Or maybe they went to 5 and they drew a card. Yeah, wow, okay. That's gonna be fine. Pretty happy just to... This is actually an interesting one. I think I do want to hold up the Hull Breacher because of things like Glimpse or just a turn 2 Visionary. But I mean, like, passing with this mana up just kind of signifies it. I didn't want to play the Trop because I thought the Trop might definitely give away Hull Breacher, but at least the Noble Hierarch producing blue might be something that my opponent doesn't pick up on. Or at least, like, just visually. Yeah, TJ Fade 100%. Korean Ranger, okay. Cradle. No attacks, okay. I still like just playing Hull Breacher here, and then we can untap Brainstorm and then Stoneforge Mystic. Alright, let's Brainstorm first. There's a case to go for Trop here, and Brainstorm off the Trop, so I have 2 white sources. In case I draw a Swords to Plowshares, it means I can play Stoneforge and also cast the Swords to Plowshares. Which I think is relevant. I get a little bit hit hard by drawing Wasteland instead, but hopefully it works out. Okay. Well, I think I keep the bird because it is an exalted creature in the air. So I don't want the fetch because I'm getting a shuffle off the Stoneforge. I think I just keep the second Stoneforge. Unless I want the shuffle effect down the line. Yeah, the Brainstorm wasn't that great, but it does give us some options. I guess second Stoneforge isn't the worst because it also gets me sort of Fire and Ice. But if my opponent's just going for a Natural Order next turn, then it's pretty rough. I think we just keep the Stoneforge. I feel like I can attack you with Hull Breacher. I think I just die anyway if they have a... Or maybe I don't die if they have a Natural Order for Hoof. It's only 3 creatures. I'm at 20 still, so I think here I get kind of a free attack with the Hull Breacher. Getting the Jide is also nice because it might turn my opponent to be a little bit more reactive to me and make them have to hold up something like the Bayou. Apologies. anti-fetch guy, Leonin Relic, Leonin Arbiter, or even Mind Sensor. 2 fantastic cards. This actually might just be, yeah, natural order. Nuts. And I assume it's just a win. Oh. Block here. Block here. And we take... I'll let MTGO decide. 5-10. Yeah, unfortunately we just die here. I don't think keeping back the Hull Breacher would have done anything, unfortunately. Nice. Tough. Cool games, bud. Can't be too unhappy about those. Yeah, I was dead either way. Yeah, natural order is really good against fair strategies. Pretty tough. I guess we do have Teeg, we do have Meddling Mage, so there's definitely tools to combat it. Just got to find those tools, which Brainstorm definitely helps. Just didn't in that case. But yeah, Elves definitely, as of recent, a lot more of a fun deck in my eyes, especially for fair decks. A bit easier to help with, to attack with, sorry. Alright. Up against Queried. Would love to play first. Come on, Mana Dogs. I mean, not the worst with a double Brainstorm. We get to put back the Dryad Arbor. We have a Knight. I kind of want a turn 1 play though that isn't just Brainstorm, so that's pretty tough. See how it goes. I'm just gonna play the Tundra and pass. I could go with Misty Pass because I'm probably not going for Brainstorm turn 1 anyway. If I end-step Brainstorm, I could untap and play a 2-drop if I find one, which is an upside. I'd rather just hold it. The more information I can get out of my opponent, the better. Health. Okay. Alright. I don't mind brainstorming now because if I hit a removal spell or a Noble Hierarch, I can cast it. Okay. Put on top, put on top. Glimmer Post. Okay. It's gonna be mono green Cloudpost. They're probably gonna hold up the Reclaimer here. I probably don't mind just fetch and play Knight. I'll get a Taiga? Doesn't really matter because it's only Clots. It might just be Trop. Have a second blue source could be relevant. Green Suns for Oof could be nice, but I think just going for Knight here is fine. And as a 3/3, I'm sure it's okay. I can just keep the fetch around for the Brainstorms. Opponent probably turning the forest or the glimmer post, probably the glimmer post into a Cloudpost. Or maybe they're just going all out on the colorless and going for Cloudpost here. Okay. They have 4 mana. Ancient Stirrings. So they could find Pithing Needle or Sorcerer's Spyglass. They find Needle, okay. Which I guess in the main deck we only have Oko as an out to. But it's still pretty tough, especially when they have up the mana to use for Reclaimer. They could actually name Night here if they really wanted to, but I think they just named Wasteland. They chose Night. That's really interesting. Haha. Well. What do I want to do here? Ramanap's pretty nice. Wasteland into Ramanap. Yeah, I do want to play around the Reclaimer here. I'm just wondering what I want to do with my turn. Yeah, Green Suns for 1 is interesting as well. I might even Brainstorm first, because if I find an Oko, then that's kind of nice. I can turn the needle off. Wasteland into Roman App does seem decent. Okay, that's interesting. Put back this, put back 1 fetch. Now we get to shuffle. I'm wastelanding here, but next turn I could get in with Jide, but the Reclaimer would be a 3/4 by then. I think I'll just go with Batterskull. Sword's also interesting, especially on the night. Gonna attack. And then play the Wasteland. Nothing. Alright, end of draw step. This is fine. Crop rotation probably would have been the biggest blowout, but not too bad, especially because it comes, I guess it still comes in untapped, so not the worst. Ramanap. That's pretty good. Now I really need a removal spell. Haha! Always. I don't mind Brainstorm first, but I'm not really brainstorming for anything in particular. I think this turn I'm happy just to go with fetch land and then pass, and the next one we have Green Suns for our own Ramanap. Main deck Ramanap's very cool. Yeah, putting back equipment's really cool. I do like getting the extra beta here. I currently have 2 lands in the bin. I guess they could make a Dark Depths, which is interesting. It's actually pretty scary. Because they could use the Cloudpost to easily go and get a Dark Depths and then copy it with Thespian Stage. So let's go and get a... I'm going to hide the red for now. It doesn't really matter. Second Salve. I'm going to Green Suns for 3 and see what they do. Because if they do make a Merit Lage, then at least I can fetch the Bird of Paradise in response as a blocker. They do nothing. Okay. So let's go for Ramanap. Get back Wasteland. And now we can attack. I guess my opponent could have Bojuka Bog, but they could have like blocked the knight, sack the land, make Elvish Claimer a 3/4, get Bojuka Bog, but they're not going to. Upkeep. Ah, then I wasteland myself? Yeah, that's interesting. That's pretty good. So currently they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. I think it is just a case of trying to take them off the Cloudpost again, even though they can use it for a Reclaimer or copy it with Thespian Stage. I might as well go to their draw step and now do it. Just to keep trying to take them off some amount. And at least it's one less Cloudpost that's at their hand. They've already lost their Ramanap, so I don't believe they have another way to get one back. It looks like they're going to use Stage here to actually copy it, and that makes total sense. Needle's pretty good. Definitely naming Wasteland. Wow. 5. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is dead. Nice. This is going to be an interesting match. Gaddock Teeg can stop Khan. And, like, I'm not sure if they play all this dust or if they just play Ulamog to get rid of things. Meddling Mage is interesting. It's probably between these and looking at what isn't relevant. So Scavenging Ooze isn't too relevant. Again, Clots isn't too relevant here. Meddling Mage over Thalia. Yeah, I could definitely see me dropping at least 2 Thalia. Oof seems great still. I think it might just be this. I have seen some Cloudpost lists on Surgical, which can be a little bit rough. Sandra's probably okay. It's got some nice drops. Has some early pressure in Stoneforge Mystic as well. Wasteland, okay. Probably just Trot Pass. Hold up Brainstorm and then we get a shuffle off Stoneforge the following turn. I could path in an upkeep off the fetch land, which is interesting. But that's fine. It'll be interesting to see what they name here, because obviously Wasteland isn't great against these 2 forests, but they're probably going to start, you know, reclaiming them away. They're going to name Knight again, which is really interesting. No attacks either. Huh. The question is, do I even want to Brainstorm? Because what am I looking for? I kind of feel like I have everything that I want in my hand. I'm gonna untap. I'm gonna draw a land, maybe. Play the fetch land, fetch Stoneforge Mystic, and then next time we just get to Oko or Ramanap. So I think I'm happy just keeping this until I actually really need something. Just because I can Brainstorm doesn't mean it's correct. Probably going for Batterskull, but it's interesting. Because next turn I'm probably just casting Oko. And then probably Ramanap. So there is a case just to go for something else, but I kind of like the thought of Batterskull because it might mean they want to, you know, 2, 4, 6, 7. Use a Pithing Needle on Stoneforge, or a removal spell where I don't really care about that. If a removal spell is going at Stoneforge Mystic, a removal spell is not going at Ramanap Excavator, so gotta be pretty happy with that. Another white source would be great, because then I can deal with the Reclaimer, hold up Batterskull, and then play Oko, turn their stuff into 3/3s, but not have to deal with their 3/3s taking over the game, which is kind of nice. I don't mind just Wasteland into Ramanap here. Oko is also interesting. They've already used 2 Pithing Needles. So I actually don't mind just Oko tick up. Even Oko tick up on Stoneforge Mystic's interesting. Yeah. Five mana. Goal loss. Okay. Alright. So here I think I do want to Brainstorm. And then I have Path on Golos and Wasteland on a Cloudpost. I could also find a second Wasteland, which would be really good. I don't have a way to shuffle, but I feel like I'll find one. I guess I have the... If I really wanted to, I could Path my own creature, but... There's also a thought of just... Oko on the Golos. I guess Karakas is always really nice as well. So let's go put on top. Put on top. Crack is actually not the greatest, because they just get to recast the Golos, so... Golos is very sweet. I might keep the Karakas for now. Ooh, I could exchange these? That's interesting. I think I want to do that though. Start fetching up my own Wastelands. That's interesting. We're definitely going after Cloudpost. That's definitely happening. And then Create a food. I could exchange for the goal loss. That's interesting. Huh. That's really interesting. I do lose the Oko, which I kind of want to turn off these Pithy Needles. It's actually a big turn. I don't mind green suns for Arbor. They could get Caracas and return to their own hand. I think I'm just going to create a food. Actually, no. 3/3 that so we can trade these. And then just path this. I also know there's land on top, so I actually might just green suns for Dried Arbor here. Keeps my mana going, which is nice. We could Ramen Up and replay Wasteland. The only chance they would get to Caracas is if they have Crop Rot. Yeah, that's true. There's definitely a downside there of going for Path and Draw Step because they could draw into Caracas. That's going to be okay. They do get a Cloudpost back here. Stirrings. Emrakul the Promised End. Is that the, yeah, wow, okay. Elvish Rejuvenator. Alright. Look at the top 5 cards. You may put a land card from among them on the battlefield tapped. Pretty strong. A forest. Okay. Just a pass. They're going to attack with both. I'm going to block one. Probably the Ramen Up here. And then I could instead Brainstorm, and then just untap and play Batterskull, which is kind of nice. But I do get to... No. I'm gonna untap. They might have Surgical for Wasteland here. They don't currently have any green up, which is great for us. Create a food. I do get to Brainstorm and then play Stoneforge to get back. Hey Kai, welcome. Interesting. I don't think I need the Caracas, but I kind of like it just as an out in case. Put on top, put on top. Stoneforge is named, but I don't mind Jide here. I can attack. I can attack. Probably with both of these, to be fair. Let's play the Perfect Storm. Haha. One day. One day, perhaps. Oh, I also got some new jumpers in, which is very cool. Legacy Maverick, Play Fair. Oh, Khan. Okay. I wonder what Khan gets. Maybe a needle from the board? They just tick up and destroy the food. Okay. That's fair. Meddling Mage. If I take this Reclaimer, can I attack with it or not? Does it have like summoning sickness because I took it? It doesn't? Okay. Because there is a thought to tapping Dried Arbor. Oh, it is summoning sick? Okay. Because I'm thinking about tapping Dried Arbor and trading it with Reclaimer. I need to have controlled it for, yeah, since the beginning of the term. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I still don't mind that. If I take this, they have the Rejuvenator, but I can cast Jide, attack with everything at the Khan. And then I get to kill it anyway, so tap for green. Exchange these. Play Jit. We do also have Wasteland in the bin, which I believe I haven't played a land yet. I could be wrong. Opponent has 2 cards and one of them is Emrakul. So they could have something like Dismember, but I don't think they do. We haven't played a land, so we do get to Wasteland them and see if they float mana or not. Ah, Khan stops the Jide. Very true. Unfortunate. I could have definitely done something different on my turn. It's always just one little thing with these new, like, Khan or Questing Beast. There's always one thing you just forget. And if that's the case, it's probably better to not tap the Trop there, because now I can't cast a Meddling Mage. My opponent here does have the option to swing back perhaps and take out the Yoko, but we'll have the Elvish Reclaimer. There we go. Play the Wasteland. Should definitely thought of that about that. Khan is only a -2, yeah. Alright. Could get Ballista here, but I'm not too afraid of Ballista. Could just be another needle effect. Crucible of Worlds. Interesting. Okay. That's fair. With Wasteland, I will be able to kill the Khan here, though. I could draw a card, but I think I'm just going to let that untap. Misty, yeah. Let's go with Wasteland. And then it actually doesn't matter how I attack the Khan, it's going to die. How well would this do against Perfect Storm? Storm's pretty tough for Maverick, but after the boarding, it's okay. We do get a lot of strong elements to beat it. I'm just gonna swing a Lacan. Because even if they block one thing, then we get to wasteland the Cloudpost. Create a 3/3. Wasteland Post. I'm gonna play this Meddling Mage. But this is interesting. I don't think I'm scared of Emrakul just yet, but they're getting pretty close to it. It's also the card that does know that's in their hand, so... I don't know how to spell Emrakul. There we go. Emrakul the Promised End. Yeah. They want to swing and kill the Oko, that's fine. We do have the other one on the way, which is nice. Thespian Stage, okay. No attacks, okay. Knight's pretty strong. Get back Wasteland. Equip here. Hey, thanks, Julian. I usually play with, just gonna move this over here. So I usually play Stream Beats Lo-Fi, which is created by Harris Heller. He has a few different ones that are really good because they're copyright free, so you can still put them on YouTube. But Chill Up Radio is a really good other one that I like because it is obviously still really good music, at least for my taste. And yeah, it's kind of nice just to have Romental. So, hey, Victor, thank you very much. Really just kind of show the advantages of Maverick there against the deck like Cloudpost. The deck just already has a really nice plan against it. I'm just gonna go to the bathroom quickly. I'll be back in a second. Stay right there. Julian, I thank you for that, but that would be a pretty tough one to take down. I actually take a lot of inspiration from your stream, so thank you for the high quality streams. Apologies for eating on stream, I just want to eat some nuts. Caramel 919. Yeah. We can find some white mana. I order Chinese food and sell safaris. Sometimes I stream. Nice. Interesting. This could be a ton of decks. Another Brainstorm. This could be Maverick, it could be Infect, it could be some of the snow decks that are running Noble to accelerate their mana. Misty doesn't tell us much. Snow-covered Island. Okay, this is going to be a snow deck. Sylvan Library is pretty strong. Don't have an answer in game 1 to Sylvan Library. Stoneforge is nice, but no white mana yet. So let's go for this Brainstorm. And we find it. So let's go put on top, put on top. Land, fetch. Savannah, Stoneforge. Could be a Daze deck. It's not. I think I am just going to go for probably Batterskull here, because I have the second Stoneforge to go and get Jide if I really want it. But it's definitely interesting. Maybe I do go for Jide because of the blowouts it can cause if they don't have a great answer. And then if I draw a white source, I can Stoneforge for Batterskull and put it in through this Batterskull if I want. Just gonna 6 as well. I could definitely 5 if I wanted to show off that I was maybe some Force of Will or Daze deck, but I'm just 5 color Mav. I'm just 5 color Mav. They take 1 card. Dead of Winter would be really nice here. 4 mana. Is this Green Suns? What are they going to Green Suns for? Maybe Leovold? Yeah, okay. It's pretty good. Noble Hierarch. Does Klotz target the opponent? Does Klotz in any way trigger Leovold? No. Target card from a graveyard. Cool. Kenya calling. Ah, thanks Julian, all the best. Good luck with the sale. I think Stoneforge is still relevant in Oko meta, because at least you're turning your Stoneforges and your equipment into 3/3 creatures, which isn't too bad. They still have to deal with those, and there are some times where they just don't have the Oko, which is kind of nice. This is an interesting one because I only have the one white source. I do want to Swords the Leovold, however. So I think we're just going to go for play the Jide. Daze it. Okay. Interesting, they didn't want us to attack with it this turn, which I think you're fine with because of the Leovold. That puts them back a fair bit. I guess in case they have Daze Undoing, I don't want to Swords just yet. But I will Swords in end step. Drew another card. 4 mana. Another Green Suns? What are you getting? Maybe Tireless Tracker? Could also be Ramanap to get a land from the yard, but they already played the Bayou, so... Uro. Uro is pretty good, but I do have Green Suns for Scavenging Ooze, so I don't really care about it. I guess I should reply... I should do something in response to the land drop, because if they put in Caracas, they can then save the Leovold. No days one time, please. Okay. Land? Ooh. Not the worst. I don't mind Brainstorm here because I could find a Wasteland to take them off even more mana, because here I get to attack with Jide, which is great. And I don't have the mana to Green Suns for Skoos and activate it to hit the Uro, so I think I do just need to hopefully hit a Wasteland here with Brainstorm. We hit a Swords, which isn't too bad either, so I'm going to put back the Sword and probably put back the other Stoneforge. And now we get to play Tundra, equip, attack with Stoneforge. The small downside here is that the Noble Hierarch puts a 5th land in the yard for Uro, but I think we kind of have it covered because of the Swords. So I'm not too unhappy by taking them off the extra mana here. They do need to find a blue source. They don't take a card from the Sylvan Library, which is interesting. Abrupt Decay. Okay, we can gain 2 life here. That's actually a great find, because now we get a turn to actually Green Suns as well. Ah, I did miss the point by not playing the Noble Hierarch. You're 100% earned B. I apologize for that. I could have played the Noble Hierarch pre-combat to get the extra mana. Alright, let's go for... Green Suns for 2. They have the Force. Alright. Stoneforge for probably just the sort of Fire and Ice. Means I can attack next turn and also Swords. Hey Hef, welcome. Hope you're well. Yeah, the old post-combat noble is pretty funny. Apologies for that. That's not fun. Oh, Ice Fang. That's pretty good, I guess. At least it's not a knight that it's trading with. Next turn I still have the amount of mana to go for Swords and Fire and Ice. Oh, wow. This is fine. This is actually interesting. I could play the Sword and Equip, or I could play the Thalia, or the Knight and Thalia. I don't mind Knight and Thalia. I guess I can't, because I do have 2 white sources. I think just making them block with the Sword of Fire and Ice is a little bit too good here. So I'll probably attack with the Dryad Arbor. Just an Abrupt Decay. Ice Fang's fine. Can't block anyway. Alright. Abrupt Decay is probably the best card they can find because they can cast Uro and also hold up Abrupt Decay if they have another land. They should just attack with the Ice Fang here if they don't have an answer for the sword, but if they keep it back, that gives me some inclination of the hand. Yeah. Oh, Path is pretty nice. Pretty happy to sword, but it's interesting. Maybe I will Path. Path giving them a land isn't the worst right now. Actually, if they have a counter spell, then I probably want to have the swords countered first, because then they don't gain the life, they just get a land. It's definitely interesting. Ooh, that's fine. Hey Panther, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? They have one card left. I guess if it's Decay, it's Decay, but I don't really mind trading a Dryad Arbor with an Ice Fang here. Oh, they're just gonna block. Okay, that's pretty great for us. We can't cast anything in hand because we don't have the removal. I could move the sword if I wanted to the Stoneforge, which I don't mind. It means I can use this Dryad Arbor for mana later on. And the Stoneforge has kind of done its job, so now it can just be on attacking duties. And now we get to just 6, which is kind of nice. You're from Brazil? Very cool. Brazil's got a really nice Eternal community. I see a lot of Brazilians in here. I know Saito San, I believe, is from Brazil, which is a big Maverick player. Very good player. Another Green Suns. Probably for Uro? Oh, for Screws. Okay. Screws is pretty strong. But so is Oko. Pretty happy to attack first as a 4/4. I could cast Thalia first to see if they have a removal spell or not, like Abrupt Decay, but then I can't cast Oko. Looks like they're just going to try to eat here. I do know those guys! Yes, very cool. It's always nice to see... Okay, this is more than fine. Interesting that they went after their own creature. I'm just going to deal with the Ice Fang here, because an Oko off the top makes the Ice Fang a little bit harder to deal with. Land, okay. Land's actually pretty nice, because now I can go... Knight. And Oko. I'm just going to hit the ooze now. It does become a 5/5, but... There's also a thought to make it a 6/6. I guess because then I get to stop it growing is kind of nice. It's interesting because they're actually at a low life total, so they have to have something pretty good here. Like an Oko, that's a start. But if they don't attack the ooze here, I get to trade like the Dried Arbor for the Scavenging Ooze that they have. Yeah, so they are going to attack. So this is actually pretty interesting. I think I am just going to block and then take the ooze. Oh, it's too big, of course. Rough. Well. I think here I do have to just make the Noble a 3/3 and attack everything at Oko. I guess to play around Icefang Quietle, I could put the sword on the 3/2 to make it a 5/5. I'm going to play a Thalia first to see if that actually makes my opponent do anything. It doesn't. So now we can equip this sword to a Noble. And I'll still attack everything at the Oko to kill it, because if they have Abrupt Decay on sword, it doesn't kill it. And Icefang only does so much here. I guess they could have Abrupt Decay on Noble Hierarch. So I should have just attacked them with the Dried Arbor and the Stoneforge Mystic. I'm going to keep the land as well. So they had Icefang. Interesting. Library's been really solid this game. Interesting, taking out the Thalia. Did not expect that. I guess that's, yeah, okay, to kill the Oko. Okay. Ugh. Rough. I don't mind the sword here to make two big creatures. I'll attack Oko. They trade, that's fine. Oko goes to 1. It's gonna be a tough one. I guess we do have the elemental blasts, which are pretty nice. No land for my opponent. Guess our own library is pretty nice. And now I think I just attack with everything to take out the Oko. But it's a tough spot. Because my opponent kind of gets to choose here what they want to block. Probably Screws on Thalia and Ice Fang on Sword. Okay. Not too unhappy with that. They do have the Uro, which is going to be tough. Okay. Ugh. I will block. My opponent also has 5 cards, which is pretty huge. One source to plowshares. Put on top. I might have to pay for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Hard Gust Force. Yeah, Wasteland wasn't going to help there, so. Uru is just so good against my strategy. I think the big turning point was probably blocking the Scoos when I didn't have to. Double block is interesting here. Obviously I lose it if they have another removal spell, but I don't mind this just to see. They do have 7 cards, so I assume they have like an Abrupt Decay, but you never know. All right. It's gonna be an interesting match. I'm not too sure what I want to board out, so anyone in chat, if you want to give me some thoughts on boarding. You stop by not registering Brainstorm on a D&T list? I do like the blast effects. I'm not sure how many I want. I probably want all 4, just so I can see them. I don't mind taking out the Thalias here. The Collector Oof is probably okay to board out. Everything else kind of has its place. I still don't mind the Stoneforge Mystic package. I could see a Wasteland being taken out. So I think I like Sylvan Library, Hull Breacher, 1, 1, 1 perhaps? That seems okay. I like this. Really still want that early aggression and acceleration on mana. A turn 2 Oko would be fantastic. Cloths is obviously really nice in this matchup as well. So I think if I get to Green Suns for 3, it's probably going to be one of my first choices. I think his hand is pretty good. Snow-covered Forest into Stoneforge Mystic. Into Oko. My opponent probably plays Thoughtseize. I'm going to go for basic. Okay. Pretty good draw. Here, I don't mind just going for Stoneforge into Batterskull because if they want to deal with it with an Abrupt Decay, it's one less Abrupt Decay they have for the Oko. Fatal Push. Interesting. Tundra is sweet. Brainstorm is fine. Hippo, what is that? If it's chat friendly, I would like to know. Nice. Get some value and pass back. The fear of long words. I like that. Decay is fine. But alright, let's Brainstorm first. Oh, okay. Put on top. Put on top. Land. I probably like Sylvan Library here, to be fair. I'm very keen to see Pace play some paper next week in Brisbane. Definitely playing Legacy. I'm not too sure if I'll play Modern at some point. Leo is going to be fine. I'm going to try to swords it here. I do want to be able to hit it. Oh, they have a force. Okay. Go and get Batterskull. And I'm actually just going to go for second library here. I guess if they have Wasteland, it's pretty tough because they can Wasteland Karakas, I return Leovold, they replay Leovold. Oops is really strong right now, especially in Modern. It's a pretty hard deck to interact with. Okay. I'm going to let them attack. Because I don't believe they've played a land yet. Yeah, they haven't. So they could have the land to cast it. Turn this, you do draw a card. A little bit of a yikes, but nice. Ooh, that's pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Kind of like holding up Hull Breacher here instead of the others, so put Knight on top, but pay for this. And then the other one I won't do anything. Ooh, this is nice. Nice. I'll take that. Opponent probably trying to get Oko on the field here. Green Suns for 2. Okay. Probably just another Ice Fang? No. Collector Oof is actually fine. Because we have the Oko and the Batterskull we don't really care about, so the Batterskull as just a 4/4 is really nice. They're going to attack with that, which is interesting. We're not going to block. If anything, I'm just putting this in now to save some time so I can 6. Put on top, put on top. No. Oko. Treasure. Attack with these two. Double green. Surely they have Abrupt Decay? Nope. Ice Fang, sure. I am gonna swords this one. They have Leovold in hand, but they don't have a force, which is nice for us. Sylvan Library just so strong in these matchups, and obviously my opponent has just seen the board state there, so really nice to win that one because Bug is usually a massive grind, and this deck just really got there. I think Hull Breach was probably MVP there. Making the 2 Ice Fangs not draw a card is just so good, and obviously my opponent was in a position that they had to deal with that, so nice to get that one out. We're 2-1. Oh, sideboard, sorry. For some reason I thought that was a third game. It's obviously not. I believe I'm just sending back the same deck list. There is some thought to playing the extra Pyro, because there are running Okos. Jack, what do you think? Do you think we should run the 4th one? I lost game 1. I won the 2nd. That was a long game, that's why. You would play 4? Yeah. I think that is so good. But maybe it's just the Green Suns that I take out, honestly. There's not one card that I'm really searching for, so I don't mind skimping on a Green Suns. I'm pretty happy with this list. This is a 1-lander that I'm not going to keep. This is a 1-lander that I will keep, and I'll bottom the Stoneforge Mystic. I don't think Teeg for Force of Will is enough. I think Teeg turning off our own Green Suns is a much higher cost, and if my opponent is 2-for-1ing themselves with Force, I'm not too unhappy, which is always nice. I'm going to get Savannah here and play Birds. Means I can cast Clots or Hull Breach next turn. Okay. Astro's fine. I think here it is just slamming Clots. Day is rough. Back to basics. Yikes. I don't think we have even a good out to back to basics, so... I guess we have Pyroblast, but we don't really have a great way otherwise. Yeah, I think this is just shuffle them up, unfortunately. But you never know, there's always at the out of Pyro, but obviously not there. Yeah. Definitely not worth playing out, unfortunately. Back to Basics really strong. And maybe, like, I guess I didn't really think about it in games 2 and 3 because the deck still has duels on their end. And things like Wasteland and Caracas most likely. But that's Magic sometimes. Really nice hand from them. I mean, turn 1 acceleration, days for our turn 3 play, and then back to basics into Oko, into Brainstorm and Wasteland. Just, yeah. I think even our good hands would have been pretty tough against that if we don't have Pyroblast. BUG definitely a tough deck. I was pretty surprised to get that second game. The removal suite is just so good. Fatal Push and Abrupt Decay just kill all of our deck. Okay. Savannah for Bird, 2/2 Knight. Green Suns for Click to Oof against any unfair decks. Not too sure my opponent's on. They're currently 0-0. Ones could be many things. It could be Depths. It could be Maverick. It could be a Cloudpost tech. Hexmage. Inquisition's pretty good. Probably just taking Knight here. It does mean we get to go to 21 life thanks to Ooze. Nice. Play Ooze and then hold up Path and Bird. Playing the old school version as well, which is interesting. So maybe this is slow depths instead of a turbo depths. Verdant. Yikes. This is actually interesting because next turn I can Green Suns for another Knight. So maybe they just take... Okay, that's interesting. With no follow-up. Makes me feel like they haven't answered another Reliquary then. Because you can play around Path a little bit better than you can play around a Knight on the field that's also attacking. I probably don't want to play the Collector Oof either, unless I see like a Lotus Petal pass, because it does turn off our own equipment, which can be relevant in this matchup, especially the life gain. Using the black off the Peat land is interesting. Needle, okay. I guess you could name Knight. And that turns off, I guess, me finding both Caracas and Wasteland. Or you could name Wasteland. They named Scavenging Ooze. That's really interesting, because I kind of feel like Scavenging Ooze has done its work. But I can see with this one, if they have an answer, yeah. Well, that's pretty good. Oh no! Oh my gosh! Oh, what an idiot. I've clicked on the bird. Yikes. Haha. Just MTGO things. Just MTGO things. That's really rough. Not even worth mentioning. Yeah, that's a tough one. Alright, well... I do get some redemption. Big oof, yeah, 100%. Hopefully it doesn't come up. I'll play the land. So we know they have a Hex Mage. There's stage. Alright. Well, now I definitely don't mind attacking with the Scavenging Ooze. If they want to go and make a 20/20, that's more than fine when we have an Oko in the ready. It's also actually lethal, which is interesting. They're at 7. I didn't realize that. Prop to count Ooze. Okay. So now I'm happy just to... play out Oko. Create a food and then equip the bird to the Jide. I guess they could have like Elvish Spirit Guide and Crop, but if they're playing the this version, I don't believe they have it. And we do also have, you know, 21 life, so a 20/20 isn't too scary here. I guess my opponent could trade the Hex Mage for the Oko, which is interesting. They have 3 cards and one is definitely Hex Mage. So here's Hex Mage. Okay. That's fair. Wasteland. Thalia. Doesn't really matter. I guess if they have Crop, they can do it because of the Urborg, so I might as well see if they have Crop in hand. Oh, okay. Attack with the bird. No blocks. Pump it once. And I'll pump it twice. Puts them down to 3. And then I don't think I played the Oof here just as an extra attacker. I think I just pass with the Jide open. And also the food open if it's a consideration. Okay. Game 1's always tough for them. This is a matchup where I'm pretty happy to drop the Oof. The Thalias. I like the library. To be fair, there's not too much I'm that worried about. I don't mind the mages instead of the Thalia, so I'll keep one Thalia in. I think this is fine. And because most of the depths decks rely on playsets of cards, once I find a Meddling Mage, I can see what they've cast, see what I'm worried about, and then make a decision on what I want to name. I'm pretty happy to keep this. Turn when it has Green Suns, which I can do off a tropical island to then cast the Brainstorm next turn if I really want to. Guess we'll see what happens. Blooming Marsh, interesting. So usually Blooming Marsh is a way to play around Submerge, but they're also playing fetch lands. And we saw that they're playing a forest, which is interesting. Green Suns, yeah, okay. Forest Pass is fine here. Oh, sorry, Windswept. At worst, I get to Brainstorm in response to a... another Thoughtseize? Dark Confidant, okay. It does make me want to dig for a removal spell, so we'll see what we draw here. Hopefully a blue land. Yes. And then hopefully find a Swords to Plowshares. No. Rough. Once. Inquisition's fine. It'll be interesting to see if they attack with the Dark Confidant, because I'm more than happy to trade this Bob for a Dryad Arbor. Seeing how many lands we have, I'm not really low on mana. If anything, I'm low on an answer for the Dark Confidant. So an attack here would be interesting. Yeah, wow. Get Dryad Arbor. Nice. That's a pretty nice trade for us. They could have another Bob, but if they do, that's fine. Clots. Strong. Three cards to my opponent, including a Once Upon a Time. If they find Hexmage here or Dark Depths, they could have either in hand. They find Hexmage. They don't have a Dark Depths though. I'm going to play Caracas this turn. Off the Clots. And then next turn we'll have Wasteland up. Reclaimer here, most likely trading a Bayou for a Dark Depths. The Urborg, interesting. Getting their own Wasteland, okay. I guess the issue is if they have Hexmage and Dark Depths here, yeah, then I expose the Krakus to Wasteland. I didn't really think of Wasteland in their deck. And I guess if they have Crop Rot here, then it's pretty tough. They have one land left. Oh, they have one card left in hand. Okay, so it actually turns out pretty well for us. Yeah, okay. Oh. I think I just get the mana and then hold up Wasteland. Now I can either force the trade here on the Hex Drinker by hitting it. I can create a food, which is kind of relevant because it puts me up to 23 next turn. I don't mind just going for food. I'll definitely play a Wasteland. I guess I should play the Wasteland first and then elk the Reclaimer. Because if they go in response to me elking the Reclaimer, go and get Dark Depths and then make it, I can't do anything. If I elk the Reclaimer, I also just lose the Oko to combat damage next turn. I like making food here. The life is relevant. Reclaimer is depths, but it's depths this turn as well. And I have that covered in Wasteland. I guess they can go for a double. Yeah. Well, you need a Ghost Quarter. Interesting. They have 2 mana, but they don't have anything else. I guess they can now just sack... Yeah, it's still tough. Because the Hex Mage deals with the Marilage, but then we Oko it. So now they have to use the Hex Drinker on the Oko, unless they have something else. Who are they attacking? Probably me? Yeah, okay. That's fair. I meant to hit a sword there, but that's fine. I meant to hit a yeah. Now I am just dead, right? Yeah. I meant to go to 19 life, so then I could go up, but then I lose anyway to the combat, so... I'm just going to submit the same list. Yeah. Yeah, I could have done a better job with that Oko. A little bit of a rough hand. The Brainstorm just drew extra lands, which is pretty tough. I was really relying on that to draw me into gas, but... we just didn't get there. Mulligan this, there's no lands. This is okay. It's a turn 2 knight and it's a double wasteland hand, so I'll keep this. Bottom the trop. Savannah Bird. I definitely respect Reclaimer. I just thought in that position, it didn't really do anything because if I elk the Reclaimer, it just gets Dark Depths before that anyway, and then they have the combo online. Hopefully they play the Reclaimer here and I get to just slam this Knight. It looks like they're going to Thoughtseize or Inquisition. Okay. Well, at least I know about the Reclaimer so I can name it with Meddling Mage. And I am going to use one of these to go after their mana. Nice, that's a pretty big win for us. Depths does have a pretty rough mana base at times, so if you can snipe them in the early game, it can be pretty tough for them to get back into the game. But obviously, against a deck running Destination Dark Depths, you do have to be pretty wary about how you use your Hex Mages. Jide is pretty good, but I don't believe I attack with it this turn, because I do just lose to Depths next turn. I did think about hitting the Urborg there, but I'd rather just hold back and be a little bit defensive. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, especially seeing I wasteland them pretty aggressively on turn 2. It definitely lines up with how I want to play this game, but I think it's okay to pivot a little bit and be a little bit more control-y. But like a Hex Mage just changes things here. I could use my mana here just to eat the food, and they can use Thespian Stage to copy something, which I probably don't mind. I can then maybe wasteland them off a green source that they copy. But they do nothing, okay. Swords, alright. Tell me more of a perfect draw. I tap birds because I'm not too scared of a combo this turn. I haven't seen Elvish Spirit Guide yet, and if I'm scared of anything, I have the Wasteland and the Sword, so... We have the Wasteland as well, so I'm not too scared. We're also at 22 life. So the issue I have with this is that giving them green gives them access to things like Abrupt Decay, which really slow down our clock. And seeing that we have the swords, I'm a little bit inclined to go for just a Wasteland here. I didn't wasteland the Herbal because I'm not scared of black permanents. It's really the green permanents that I'm kind of afraid of because it does slow down our clock tremendously. Can resolve. Yeah. This is fine. Probably am just being a bit too aggressive here. Especially in hindsight now. Could draw Caracas. Okay. I'm gonna pump this once because I can still kill a 3/4. I guess I can't kill a Reclaimer. Even if they have a Reclaimer, they can't have up Abrupt Decay as well unless they have Lotus Petal. So I probably don't mind just going all in. I do have it named. Yeah, that's true. Oh. Okay. So I guess the one wasteland that I had wouldn't have done a whole lot, but I guess it would have because it would have got rid of the stage and depths. Probably just want to equip like this to get that extra 1 counter. Yeah, that's fair enough. Interesting. Giving me a turn. Please be Inquisition. Oh. Alright, now I hope I don't draw the land. Screws is interesting, but doesn't do enough. I don't think we bluff. I think this game's kind of gone. I'd probably most rather, in case we draw into Caracas or part to exile, it just means that we have an extra creature on the board, which is nice. Needle's fine. Drop. Tega. Doesn't really matter because Klotz isn't great in this matchup. But yeah, I think in all honesty, I just made horrible plays with my Wastelands. The first one was okay, but the second one, because I didn't have, you know, any cards in hand, I didn't really have a plan against steps. I should have just kept it. They probably named Caracas. They named Wasteland, okay. Does it mean they don't have a land to play? Hey, Dr. Stacks, welcome. Oh, Bob's pretty good. Stoneforge. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure why they made the 2020. I think I might create to attack with both here. They're at a high enough loaf title that they probably don't really care about any of these. Knight. And then that's it. All right. That's been stage. It's pretty good. Hey, thanks, Dr. Stacks. Hope you're doing well. We're currently in game 3, so this isn't looking too good. My opponent does have Dark Depths online. We did have to swords the first one. Oh, Green Suns. Green Suns does get me... Yeah, okay. Green Suns does get me Knight, which gives me access to a few things. I don't think getting another bird wins me the game, but Knight might. Hopefully they don't play Opposition Agent, because that would be a pretty big blowout. That's cool. What did you play through a league? Dark Confidant? Okay. That's fine. Not getting Caracas is pretty huge. Inquisition is okay. No decay one time. Oh. Ah! Is this just Bob? Oh, it could be, no, it can't be. It is just Bob. Wow. So now we get back in this game through Caracas? We know that one card in their hand is Elvish Reclaimer. I can only think the other one is another Elvish Reclaimer. Or another Knight. Wow, okay. Nuts. Oh my gosh. Pretty happy here just to attack with everything. Yeah, I mean it's a great way to just make sure, even if you play poorly, just keep playing. It's only over until your life total's at 0. Yeah, not naming Caracas was a pretty big one. Especially because not playing Caracas meant you could, yeah, do a few things. Right, there's another one, but we do have the Caracas in play. They're pretty close to just dead here. I might even be able to eat enough lands here to make this Elvish Reclaimer lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can eat 1 and then 4. Yeah. Yeah. No words. Alright. We can play for the 3-2, which is kind of nice. I don't think there's a way I was not winning that game, so I don't think it really matters. Up against Mats. This hand is pretty good, I'll keep this. Drop into Bird. There's some thought to going fetch into fetch, because then it makes Knight a 4-4 if my opponent's on a Lightning Bolt deck. Ooh, Snow-Covered Plains, Astrolabe, okay. Interesting. I probably still just want to go for a Knight here unless I draw an Oko. Savannah. The question is, do I have to care about... I guess I... Yeah. There's no reason to use a fetch land here. That's fine. What do they have? Ponder? Ponder for Swords to Plowshares, perhaps? Chose not to shuffle. Yep. I guess Wasteland off the top would be kind of nice. It's a good question. I think I just like the kind of newer border, because the other ones I believe don't come in all the same. It's just nice to have all the equipment in the same border, but the old borders do look good. I'm having a big think here. Not too sure what they're thinking about. Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you, deck. Ah. More than fine. I don't think Knight's a great threat in this matchup, so I'm more than happy you're getting a forced and maybe leaving on the Stoneforge to get some damage through. What do we got? Oh, green suns, okay. Interesting. I don't mind Misty because it can hold up Dried Arbor. I might also just tap like this in case they play a main deck back to basics. It's definitely worth thinking about. I'm gonna go for Jide because of the Dried Arbor. Oko's okay. Does mean the Jide is definitely getting hit, which is a little bit tough, but you're gonna make that a 3/3. That's interesting. My own Oko. A little bit tough because then they can... I can, yeah, Elk the Bird. That's correct. I should see that line. You think they should unban Jide in Modern? I'm not even opening that basket. Ponder's fine. They've also tapped the Astrolabe, which is interesting because it means that they can't play an Oko and attack with the Astrolabe. Dr. Stacks, what do you think in Modern would play Jide? Actually, better question, what wouldn't play Jide? That's the big one. Jide's a very strong card. That's actually pretty fine. I'm gonna cast this. If they want to force it, that's fine. That's more than fine, because now we can get pretty aggressive with these. I'm gonna fetch you for a Tundra and swords this. Oh, path it, sorry. No Dead of Winter one time, that'd be pretty good. Green Suns for 2. Ice Fang, okay. That's fair. Oof's interesting. Sure. Now they don't have green mana, which is pretty big. Had a skull. Crazy. Hull Breacher, Pyroblasts. I don't think I want the Teeg. I'm probably pretty happy to take out the Oof. Batterskull's an interesting one. I don't mind going down on the path. Also Thalia. Screws is still pretty relevant. Sylvan Library's pretty huge. I'm going to go down on one Knight. Yeah. That seems okay. Oh, that's 61. Okay, let's go down on a Wasteland. That makes a lot of sense. Hey Go Legacy Hype, thanks for following. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? It's pretty hard to say as well. I think that Modern would change pretty rapidly if Jide was added to the format. It's pretty hard to say that a format that doesn't have Jide isn't ready or playing decks that play Jide. I think it's strong enough and format warping enough for decks to change. Yeah, this seems okay. I don't mind this because I get to go for a rapid Oko and then cloths to finish up. So I'm going to keep this. All right. Oh, another land isn't great. I think it's just going to be Trop into Green Suns. No swords, okay. Interesting. Yikes. It's okay. Still just a 2-for-1, which is kind of nice for us. Probably going to see an Ice Fang here. Oops. Triad Arbor, okay. I wouldn't mind like Blazing Volley here would be really nice. Swords. So I can either take my opponent off a mana. I think just getting cloths on board here is really nice. just does the most with my mana as well. Yeah, this deck's pretty cool. I do like Brainstorm, and obviously I'm a huge fan of the red splash because the blasts are pretty good. I think Brainstorm hasn't been the greatest in this one league, but it's been nice to have the out of, hey, I can actually brainstorm those cards away and hopefully draw into what I'm looking for. This is probably Leovold, which I do have the swords for, but obviously a pretty good threat. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. The back to basics really hurt, so I can see where the mana can really hurt you, but otherwise it was pretty good. I think I'm going to take the land here, because then I can make a green. We can swords this big fella. Which is nice. We can play Canopy. Yeah, that's fine. Play Stoneforge. I think it's just going to be Jide. And then attack with Dried Arbor. I feel like the Bant deck was obviously a little bit more concise. You knew what lands you had to get. You didn't get mana screwed too often. But this one can be a little bit tricky with the red and knowing when to go for Tundra or Taiga instead of something like Trop or Savannah. I find that Savannah and Trop are the duels that you're going for the most. And then probably Tundra and then Taiga, depending on how you board. I feel like they have Abrupt Decay for the Umezawa's Jide here. Ooh, that's pretty good. I'm going to attack the Oku because I might actually just make them block with the Ice Fang. Decay's okay. Now they want to block. I don't mind the block because it does fill the yard, but they're obviously not going to do it. Nice. The one big reason why I like this version over the Bant version is obviously the cloths and the blasts, and that's the big difference. So this version has been pretty cool. It's nice to attack. It's nice to do things on the stack, which is cool. Another Oko. Okay. Probably make the food a 3/3 and just jam in. Let's draw a card. Thalia. Okay. I'm not too sure what this Green Suns wants to achieve here. I believe I've played a land. I could Ramanap. I don't mind Ramanap. Have I played a land? Oh, I drew the Thalia for turn, so I haven't. Oh, I have played a land. Yeah, I played the Tundra, my bad. I could see them just Okoing one of their 1/1s into a 3/3 and just bash again. Okay. No great blocks here. Swords is pretty strong. Let's take out the Brainstorm. Attack Oko with everything. There's some thought to actually swordsing the Dried Arbor here, but we'll see what they attack. Yeah, okay. Well, at least now we get to swords this with the trigger still on the stack, so they can't draw into like blue card and force. Plague's pretty good. I wish they printed Snow Hate that's actually playable. I saw some of the new stuff and it's pretty... It's tough when they print stuff like, you know, Oko and Uro, and then they cut back on the hate for snow. Maybe in Modern Horizons 2 we'll see something. Just the food. Interesting. Interesting. Astrolabe's okay. Elka food. Attack with everything. Interesting. Your time to shine, Batterskull. That's actually not too bad. Three, 6, and 8. I'm just gonna take this. Playing this now is interesting because I do get to exile it, which is nice. Maybe they just want the card? Unless they have Caracas to return it? No, they don't. Okay. Pyroblast. Oh! Say it and it happens! Haha! Take out a row. Pyroblast this. It's a pretty big swing. I could have actually left the Batterskull in play and equipped it this turn. I just didn't think I would have that. So that's interesting. No attacks means that this guy's going to be attacking next turn, which is really nice. Okay. Brainstorm's pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think here I'm pretty happy just to attack with the Batterskull first. Okay. I feel like this is fine. Wow. Huh. Alright. That's actually okay. I think in response to the trigger, I'm going to Brainstorm. Can I? No. I have to target something first. Okay. I guess I don't really need the land, so take out a swords. Now, I will Brainstorm in case we just hit like an exalted creature, and I do want to do that pre-combat. Okay, that's pretty good. Put on top, put on top. Trade with the plague. Alright. Now I think I just want a Green Suns for Ramanap and play a land. I could also get, I guess it depends. They could just have Force here, they don't. So it's between Ramanap, which is already dead, and Knight, so it's just going to be Knight. Which, as a 4-4, is actually pretty... I do like that it's a 4-4 as well. That's always nice. Next time we can even use Clots for a mana to then have... Okay, and they dealt with it. The question is, does Clots actually... race the food? I don't think by itself, but it's close. Pyroblast is nice. Let's go after Decay. I will Brainstorm here in case I find a creature. I find... Okay. Put on top. Put this on top. Play Stoneforge. Get Sword. Pass with Pyroblast up. Clot's looking really nice here. Sylvan Library's pretty good for my opponent, I will give them that, but they are getting pretty low as well. Just keep going after this stuff. Play a land. Fetch. Hold up Pyroblast while I equip to Stoneforge Mystic. Attack with a 5/6. We also have 5 minutes on the clock, which is huge. I think you double block here. Yeah, nice. Clots is a 4-turn clock. Uro is probably their first out. And I think I let it resolve and then hit it back on the Pyroblast. Hit it back from the graveyard. Astrolabe's okay. They have 1 card, now they have 2 cards. My opponent goes to play a Plague Engineer, that's going to be fine. No harm there. 1 card left for my opponent. Oof. And just a pass. We don't know what's on top because the shuffle from Stoneforge Mystic. Is it a creature? It is a land. Alright. I kind of like the land because it means I can play Sword of Fire and Ice this turn and then also return Batterskull and hold up Pyroblast. But my opponent really needs to find either some life gain or an answer to this Clots. And luckily the Pyroblast gives me some amount of play. Uro, okay. So I let this resolve, and then I see if they bring it back, and then I Pyroblast it when it's coming back. I guess the Wasteland does have that effect, which is nice. Well, they have a Caracas. Okay. They're not going to return it. Interesting. They have 1 card left. And I guess they could have a Flusterstorm, but I think we can pay for it. Bang. Baddest Girl. And I think we just equip here to stop something like a bounce effect. Opponent does get to look. Okay, they didn't find anything, so I believe we go 3-2. So we do get a chest, which is kind of nice. But that was grindy, and obviously Klotz there is just so good at grinding out games. The Elemental Blasts were fantastic as well, because otherwise we wouldn't really have a great answer to Uro in that spot. And Klotz just grinding away was so nice. I'm a huge fan of this card, and I think literally Klotz and these 4 is enough for me to want to play a lot more Punishing Maverick than I do, which is cool. I'm not too sure if there are like any traditional ways to get rid of it. Obviously, Council's Judgment has seen play in Legacy. It doesn't see too much play now. Teferi Bounce is one. Like Celestial Purge, I guess, is a pretty fringe card that I don't think has really come around yet. Skyclave is the best. Yeah, okay. Skyclave does deal with it. That's a big one. Nice. But, yeah, interesting deck. I've wanted to play the Brainstorm list for a long time, and obviously tonight it didn't shine, but it did give me some options that I wouldn't traditionally have in a more stock Maverick list. There wasn't really a case of me ever getting Brainstorm blocked, which is nice. I think the deck has enough natural ways to shuffle that it felt really good. I guess my only consideration for a change would be playing the Oof in the sideboard and playing the Teeg in the main deck, just because of Oof's interactions with your Stoneforge Mystic package, and Teeg just being a really good way to make sure you have something against some of the really unfair decks in the format. But other than that, the deck seemed really solid. Obviously, Matt Vuk played this list to a 3-1 finish today in the Legacy Prelim, which is really cool. I think he played against Rug Delver. Let me quickly check. Beat Mono Red Prison, Rug Uro Delver, Bug Hogak, and lost to Mono Red Prison, which I can kind of see why with this, but yeah, really interesting to see. That's going to be it for me. I'm going to see who else is streaming. If you want to find me on my other channels, you can find me at YouTube here, you can find me at Twitter here, you can also find me at thegreensunzenith.com. Thank you all for the new followers, the new subs. I always appreciate it. I hope you guys have a nice weekend. Polsky, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. Yeah, shout out to Jack. Thanks for being here the whole time. Always nice to get your insights as well, because there's definitely plays that I missed that you pick up on. Even the one before where it was like, you just elk your bird and you can kill the opposing Oko, which I just didn't even see. So it's really nice to have that around as well. Let's quickly have a look at Twitch. Usually around this time there isn't too many players on, which is always tough. But True Hero is, and I believe they're playing Legacy. Oh, it looks like a sweet deck. They're playing Uro, Tarmogoyf, Bloodbraid Elf. Okay, this looks nice. Hey Tubok, thank you very much for the follow. Hope you're well. Hope you enjoyed my content. Let's send you over to Is That True Hero? Nice. Once again, my name is Zoogs on Twitch. I'll be back on Sunday with a dual stream with Mr. Lee, which should be pretty fun. I think we'll be playing some primetime deck, but we'll have to see what it is then. See you later.